Hi everyone, this is Yarn Journey here on YouTube and also on Ravelry with a crochet video. And I'm going to show adding curled picots to the edge of chainless foundations. And the first one is my favorite, and the one that I think looks nice, is easy to do and looks fairly nice, and I hope you think so too. So let's see, it's going to be the linked double crochet chainless foundation with curled picot edge. Okay, that's a lot, isn't it? Okay, I don't start with a knot. You can, though. I start just with a loop. And then I'm going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. I'm going to go in my second chain from a hook. And I'm going to pull up a loop for the link. And then I'm going to go into my third chain also and pull up a loop. And that's the one that's going to hold the picot. Alright, so I'm trying to keep in frame because I did this before and I wasn't in frame. Okay, I'm going to make a chain to hold the picot. Now this is picot. Now this very first stitch, you'll want to tighten up these 3 chain stitches for the picot a little bit. It's mainly because it's the beginning of the work and there's nothing to pull on, so it's real easy to pull these chains big without even thinking about it. So for the first couple of them, I kind of watch how big I make my chains. Okay, now I'm going to slip stitch, roll everything to the forward and slip stitch together like you do in the chain, if you saw the chain video. Now I'm going to chain 1, and now I'm going to double crochet off. And that's the reason, that chain is the reason you have to link your yarn overs, or they just flop around and they don't look very nice. At least I didn't think they looked very nice. So now I'm going to take that little extra thread out and just use a loop for my first chain. So you can see I have my 3 chains right here. And that's just a salvage. That's not part of my stitch. This will be my first stitch and it's right over the picot. So, okay, we're going to link a plain double crochet in between each stitch, each picot. So I've got my 3 loops. I chain the first one and then do the double crochet. Now technically you don't have to link that one, but you do have to link the picot one. So I'll show you them all linked, and then I'll try to do a sample with just some of them linked. Okay, so I'm linking this one because it's a picot. Okay, so I have my 3 loops on the hook, and I'm going to put a picot here. So I chain, and I'm going to be careful on these first 3 chains. This is still the second one. Okay, those look pretty good. And I'm going to roll forward and slip stitch closed. Then I'm going to chain 1 and double crochet off. Okay, now I'll check my picot to make sure it's a good size, that it matches the other ones by pulling it out. And see, it makes a circle. You can see the chains going around there, and it kind of curls around. Okay. See, it did get a little big, but I think it'll be all right. Okay. I think it'll be all right. All right, then I'm going to link my next plain stitch. So I go through my link and then through the bottom, and I have to chain 1. Remember to chain 1 at the bottom so that you have something to go into for the next stitch. Okay, and again go through the link and go through your bottom. Now the picots get a little easier to do because you have something to hold on to. I'm going to roll forward. Yeah, snug up that last stitch because that's the one that that tends to get big. Then we're going to chain and double crochet off. Okay, there we go. So we have our picots. I'm going to link again. Put a stitch in between. So I chain and then double crochet. Going under the link. Now I should just be able to crochet watching the monitor, so I stay, but I can't for some reason today. Alrighty, I'm going to chain and then do my 3 chains. That's 1, 2, and 3, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah. Go through, roll forward. Pull through, and then chain 1 and double crochet. Okay, so we have 4 of them linked all the way across. Okay, so let's try one without a link. I'm going to yarn over, and I'm just going to, since this is a stitch in between, I don't have to link it, because its yarn over is not being pulled anywhere. See, when you do that chain and everything, you have this yarn over that's just kind of there, because you have 2 stitches here, and you only have 1 stitch across the bottom of that one. So you only have 1 stitch at the top here, and you get 2 stitches here, so you get a weird yarn over thing. That's, if that makes sense. Okay, so now I'm doing the picot stitch, so I want that one linked so that the yarn over is stabilized or contained. So I go under the wrap and through the stitch. You can just go through the stitch like you did at the beginning, but it's really hard to avoid that yarn over. You can if you're careful, but I think it's easier just to go through it. And the only difference is the yarn over is coming out below the stitch instead of above the stitch and over. So, okay, maybe that's too much information, but that's just the thinking behind it. Okay, so I'm going to do my chain and then my 3 picot stitches. And if your picots are getting really sloppy looking or real big, it's this last chain that needs to be tightened up. All right, yeah, it's this last chain. So that's the one that kind of controls the size of the picot. Did I do that right? It's the one that's on your hook. It's the slip stitch that needs to be, yeah, it's a slip stitch, not the one, not the stitch, the last stitch of the picot, but the actual, I think it's the actual slip stitch that needs, but it's the last stitches. That's the one where that gets kind of pulled out right here and makes a sloppy looking picot. So the first 2 are under here, so they don't really show. So anyway. Okay, I hope that's helpful to know too. Okay, so I linked those, and see it's those 2 are linked, but now I don't have to link the next one. That's on frame, okay. Okay, and then the next one needs to be linked, so I have to go underneath into the stitch. See, you can get to it, but I'm just going to go through the yarn over and the stitch. And then, I guess I could do one with not going through the yarn over, but I think it looks better. And plus, then you'd have to also get, by going through the yarn over and the side of the stitch, you're going through 2 threads. So if you are going to avoid the yarn over, then you would have to go through that back. And then this might, yeah, I think it's best to go through the yarn over, to tell you the truth. I always have, but I think that's the best. Sorry, I'm thinking out loud. I just came up with this this morning and last night, playing around with it. So I'm thinking that I like this best, but maybe, in a couple days I'll like something else better. So, but right now I like this one. And then I double crochet off. I kind of do a different type of technique on everything I make and change things up. Okay, so that's what you get. So see, you get a bigger hole in between the stitches. Okay, let's do one more without with a non-linked double crochet in between, so you can kind of see. Okay. All right, so it's not linked, but I need to link the next one. Sorry about thinking out loud about the going under the yarn over or not. I think it is best to go underneath it at this point in time. Somebody else might have a different take on that. Okay, now I'm going to... See, I don't think there are any, steadfast rules in crochet. If it looks like you want it to look, then it's okay. Do it that way. Okay, and then I need to do a chain and double crochet. Okay. And then I do like to open these and check them, make sure that I formed them the way I want them to look. And they should open up and make a loop. If they don't, then I go back and redo it. And once they're blocked, and then you go to wash or launder something again, they'll stay blocked, So you don't have to worry about putting picots on things and having to block them each time. Once they're pulled out, they'll stay that way, if they're set. Okay, so that's pretty much the double crochet with a this is a double crochet, linked double crochet with a curled picot stitch, and then this is so you get these little V's instead in between, and you get a more lace-like look if you want to do it this way. There's not that much of a difference for here, but here's a sample I worked up with doing trebles. And see, it does make a big difference not linking the plain stitches, the stitches that don't have picots. You get this nice little ladder. If you did 4 wraps, this is 2 wraps. If you did 3 or 4, you'd have just more ladders going up in a bigger hole. And then if you do link stitches, you can put a picot on the links. So this is a link on the top picot, and this is a link on the picot on the top link, and this is on the bottom link. So of the two, and then you get kind of... I tried to do a video in this yellow yarn, so I think it did, it doesn't really read with the light, and I don't even have really strong light on this, but gives you kind of like a little texture there. So then you could then just keep doing patterns, So, okay, so you can do, this is linked and not linked could also be a pattern. So, okay, so we showed you that and you do the trebles just the way you would have done the doubles on this side. I found single crochets a bit harder to do, but they can be done. You can do a single crochet chainless foundation too. I found one that is pretty solid and it gives you more of a little tab than the teardrop Picot, so I'll show you that one. So I need 2 chains now. So 1, 2, and I'm going to go in the first chain and pull through a loop to put a picot on. Okay, so here's my loop I'm putting the picot on. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then I'm going to go under this first, the left hand thread on the top of that first chain that you're putting picot in, and slip stitch through. And then what I did with this one is I didn't put the chain in, so this makes a really solid, compact cordless foundation, or chainless foundation with Picot. Okay, then all I had to do to do the next one is I just went through the center of everything and pulled through. Okay, and then did a plain stitch in between. So this is fast, but and gives a solid edge. But you get a tab-like picot. You don't get the teardrop picot because you're opening up the top of the teardrop with your hook, pushing it down in, you know, when you put that extra stitch in between. Sorry about that. So I rolled everything forward and I'm pulling through. And then I just single crochet right off. And then I go through the picot right down the center and do a plain single crochet. And you get a real solid looking tabbed single crochet chainless foundation. So you don't, it's not lacy if you wanted something. And since you don't have that extra chain here, you can do your doubles with this stitch too, and just do it with double crochets. You don't, and then you don't have to worry about linking them. But you get this tab shape because the top of the picot is, so it's more of an oval, not a teardrop. So it just depends what you want. So that's another option. Because you didn't put that extra chain in, it's okay to do a wrap because the wrap's not going to go, it'll stay with the stitch. It won't span on top of the picot like it will when you have 2 stitches on top of the picot to give it that teardrop look. I hope that makes sense. I don't know. Okay, so now I'm going just do the plain stitch. Let's do one more. Thread here. Getting to the end of this ball. Okay. Do one more. So I do my chain and my 3 picot stitches. And I'm going right in here to that one thread. So when I roll over, I have the 2 and pull through, and then finish my single crochet. And then where these stitches are pointing, that's where you go in. Your hook will go right there. Goes right in there, real easy. And then you just have to do a single crochet. Okay, so that's one that looks like this. It's pretty. You don't have to pull out the picots as much. They're going to pretty much be the shape they are because you've opened it up with your hook when you put the hook down the middle of it. That makes sense? This one looks here like one of the back stitches is turned. Okay. So then you get these little oblong picots or tabs. Okay, now you can do the one with the chain. I'll show you what that one looks like. So we did the stitch in between, so this is a picot stitch. Okay, so if I did my chain, now I do my 3 picots. 1, 2, and you'll get a single crochet lacy picot if you put a chain in there. Okay, and then do your chain and then your double crochet. So you're on each picot stitch you're getting 2 chains holding the picot and only 1 up at the top here. So you're going to, when you crochet into that, you're going to have, say, a bigger hole than you would if you don't do the chain. Okay, so now we go into that chain, pull through, and do our plain single crochet in between. Go under 2 threads. It's the end of the video, so I guess I'm excited to get done. Okay, so I'm going to do the picot. Again, you chain and then do the 3 picot stitches. Go through there. Underneath the 1 thread, roll forward, pull through, chain, and do a picot stitch. Okay, then go back in that chain and do just a plain picot stitch. So these go pretty fast, and you get a chain. Can you see that's it's more open and it's chain because you're getting 2 stitches down here for each one here. I tried putting a little, you could put a chain, another one, but that chain just lays right on top of here. So I didn't see any benefit of doing that. So I tried going into it and around it, and when I came back and did a single crochet, and I didn't think it made that much of a difference. But you can try it. You just would chain 1, and then you'd have another chain up here, but it tends to pull all the way over to the side, so I didn't see the benefit of it. Okay, so I did the stitch in between, so now this is a picot. I hope you find these edgings fun to make, and that they'll add to a crochet project that you're working on, that you want. So I do a chain and then do a single crochet. And then if they're drop down picots, you do have to open them up a bit because you don't to check the size. And this will be a plain. Okay, so that's here. Even though I just have a plain one on the edge, you can see that it's really easy to go back through and do your single crochet stitches in. And it's a nice soft edge. And it's stretchy, and the other one is too, the double and the triple and the treble one. They were real easy to go into too. Okay, so I still want to show you the tall stitches, how to get some little things to watch for and what threads to go over and under on your tall stitches to make those a little easier to understand, and some edgings. Okay, so there we go. So there is what that would look like. Okay, so you can see the bigger holes, right, with the ones with the 2 chains. So if you like that look and you want it more of a lacy look, there's that one. Or if you want it more solid, then you don't, you have to go through that little hole right at the base of the picot. But you don't get quite as much of a teardrop look when you do that. Okay. All right. Well, thank you for watching this video. Try some of these linked double crochet stitches and putting loops or these curl picots on them. I think they're pretty, and I think even though each stitch takes a little bit, you've got a whole inch of your work started when you get your border done if you do a treble chainless foundation with picot edge. Okay, there's the doubles again. Okay, thank you all for watching, and I hope this is beneficial. And let me know if you've seen other people doing these type of stitches, and I'd love to talk to them, and because I love playing with these type, playing with crochet stitches, as you can tell. All right, thank you very much. This is Yarn Journey. Thank you for watching.